on to the interim meeting, which we had a call because of a couple of planning applications that came in. So welcome to the Parish Council meeting. I think we've had a couple of apologies.
We have. Jonathan and Adi sent their apologies.
And everyone happy that we accept those apologies?
Yep.
Excellent. Okay. Any declarations of interest and needs?
Maybe.
Yeah, I think you've got one on the 6A, Kissing Gate quotes.
Oh, I can't see that on this agenda.
6A.
It just says matters for consideration, none at this provisional meeting.
That's what I have. None.
Alright, well there was an updated one that came out last
Oh, I haven't seen that. Okay.
Oh, yes, you haven't
Red,
got
not
the
that
latest
So 6A needed advice.
Yeah. And Parish Hall is only a payment of a
It is one payment,
so it's not,
Parish Hall. That's it.
it's not making a decision on the payment of the bill that
Oh.
will be accepted.
And Adi's got one here and he's not here, so that's,
Yeah.
otherwise
Is
you
that
have
new?
to change.
Okay.
It's a revised one actually.
Oh, we didn't see that.
Okay, so next item then is public session, and we have no members of the public, so we can move straight on to planning. And Carl, you want to introduce this?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Right, 0726 00001, crown reduce, one number oak tree at 118 Brent Street, Brent Knoll. That's the location. It's right next to the Holywell nursing home, as you can see, and that's the tree in the garden of the particular property.
Just a little one.
Just a little one, yeah. We normally view these on the grounds of saying yes, go ahead on the grounds of good arboreal practice, and I think this is looks like a tree of size that needs that done. I obviously cannot propose it, but I'll leave it up to you based on
Okay, any comments or questions? We've got Andy and then Charlie.
I'm just happy to raise. I've got no questions.
Okay. Andy.
I'll propose it, but I think it's for health and safety reasons.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any other comments? If not, all those in favour, please show. No, it's not. That's not okay.
No.
So, that's unanimous. Okay, and then we move to 072520, which is the stable rock on land east of Wick Lane, Brent Knoll.
I've had a look at this. That is a perfect example of where it is located in a field, and it's about, I looked at the measurements, it's about 4 metres by 7 metres, something like that, yeah. With a low pitched roof on it, just a common garden stable with a hay store, etc. Looks okay, but there are objections from the Environment Agency and from the Environmental Health. The Environment Agency says, in the absence of an acceptable flood risk assessment, an FRA, we object to this application and recommend that planning permission is refused. And they detail reasons why they need to give a flood risk assessment. On the environmental health, the use hereby permitted shall not commence until a written scheme for the containment and storage of manure has been submitted and approved in writing by the local planning authority. Such a scheme shall be implemented and maintained in accordance with the approval in perpetuity. Reason, in the interest of controlling odours and protecting residential amenity in accordance with policies D24, D25 of the Sedgemoor local plan. For those reasons, I think you need to look at it. It's perfectly okay, but those objections have been made.
It's quite close to a drain on the left-hand side presumably there's going to be water there for the horses.
Yeah. I mean, normally the drainage board would comment, right?
If not, it's just the two from the environmental agency, but I think that's a valid point.
Yeah, because normally they wouldn't want it too close to a waterway. But yeah. Okay. Any other comments or questions?
Well, that hasn't already been made.
Okay, I'm looking for a proposal. Andy?
I propose that we reject this on the grounds of the three comments made.
Okay. You've got those three reasons.
They're on the website, aren't they? So.
The last one
Do you
was
want-
Malcolm's about.
Do you want copies of the letter, so it just
Yeah, it would be useful. Yeah, just to make sure we get it right.
Okay.
Yeah, and we do need to put the third one in as well, because that's very valid.
There's no further comments. We've got a recommendation for reviews on those three grounds. All those in favour, please show. Stay on that.
Can you give those to our micros?
Thank you. Thanks very much. Lovely, thank you.
Just run off this tax.
Yes. Okay, well, thank you very much. That takes us on to item 5, which is the financial report.
There's a couple of items on there. You may remember at the last meeting there were a few payments that were just missed the last meeting, and we decided that because we were almost certainly have a provisional meeting, we could do it on this one. So basically, payment one there is Councillor Povey. He obviously secured a number of items to do the Middle Street fencing to complete that job, and £113.55. I have receipts for that. Okay. There's the ICO Information Commission subscription. And what you'll see in the accounts this year, when you see the accounts at the end of this month, is there are 2 payments to ICO this year. We're attempting to get it back on track. Somewhere along the distant past, we got into a bit of a funny situation where we didn't pay them one year. We missed a year because it was right at the end of one and right at the beginning of another. This year, I did say to them I'd get it back on track. So that means we've got to make 2 payments in this year. Okay, so to the ICO. The auction website is the biggest one there. And obviously we're going to talk about the website anyway later, but we paid for the email domain, but this is for the website and all the additional items that have been placed on there. And that brings us up to date with them effectively. And then there's the parish hall hire, 117.25, which again is pretty normal at this time of year. We normally get a catch-all one in March for the outstanding ones, and the GB Sports ones are a bit odd because we didn't pay them in February, and in fact now I've discovered we didn't pay them in January either. Because what happened, the standing order went awry apparently, and suddenly came back to me with a bit of a strange letter saying, do you realise you've missed 2 payments? And when I looked into it, the standing order had finished in December. So for some reason, some unknown reason, now I've set it up again for March, which of course Amanda and Bob approved, but we owe them for 2, now only says 1 on here, but since then of course I've discovered that we can pay them 2 months in doing the accounts. So I think we ought to settle with them on the two amounts. Now it's not twice 36 because we're owed £6 by them for some other reason in the past. Goodness only knows what that was for, but we did. So
It's all budgeted for and it's all in line with budget.
it is. So
What is the
66
additional amount? 66.
66 is the amount we're looking for them actually.
Okay.
So they're the amounts.
Any questions for Owen? If not, is there a proposal we pay those? Charlie?
I propose them with the additional £30 to cover the 66.
Okay. Is that seconded? Okay, seconded. All those in favour, please show. Okay, that's clearly carried.
Right, okay.
And then we have matters for consideration. So we're going to revisit partial matters and for a contract for kissing gates to consider. We've got quotes there.
Yeah, the quote was 607. Just checking here actually.
So you remember the last meeting we'd agreed that we were going to go with a tender of B, I think it was. So it was the cheaper quote for the kissing gates. We went back back to him, and he said actually he'd done that at a very discounted price as part of the whole package, and would like to re-quote for that as the standalone item, which he's now done. And we've had that quote come through, which is for £660 plus VAT, which is cheaper than the other one anyway. It's higher than the original quote, but it's still less than the tender at A. So our members happy that we go ahead and ask.
Remind me, where are the two kissing gates?
So you remember, it was several months ago, we had a complaint from a resident. It was the footpath that heads over from the top of the knoll to Burton Row.
Yep.
And they'd had problems with stock getting out because the
Oh, yeah.
stiles had fallen down. Someone had tried to then block it. It made it very difficult for people to get through. So this was a replacement of those two damaged stiles with kissing gates. So it's still stock proof. The kissing gates themselves have been supplied by Somerset. We're basically paying for the installation.
I'm happy to propose that we pay this.
Okay. Is that seconded?
Basically, just sending a purchase order, and just giving him authority to go ahead, basically. That's what we're looking for.
All in favour that we, sorry, Andy.
Yeah, sorry, no, that's fine, it's fine.
Okay, so all in favour of paying, going ahead with the quote as outlined?
Okay.
That's clearly carried. Andy?
I was going to say, my apologies, I was going to send you a template, I haven't got round to it. That's my apologies.
That's okay.
Well, all of these now got purchase orders against them, and that actually now will complete that original block of things that we decided we were going to do.
Yeah.
So, and the same has happened with GB Sports as well. I've given them purchase orders.
Should we get Amanda?
Yes, please.
Leave her out.
Shall we get her at the end?
Okay.
They all voted to bring you in at the end, but I haven't.
Thank you, Andy. I knew it was going.
So if we move on to 6B, which is updates on the new council website.
It's been quite a bitty sort of experience, really. I mean, I've been back and forwards to them on a number of occasions to try and get as close to fit to the old website as I can. And I think it does its job. I think it's, when you look at it, it looks a bit bland as a website, but then it's not meant to be a whizzy sort of. It's meant to be a compliant website, which will satisfy the auditors, and it does that. But there are quite a number of things missing.
I'd say I think you think it looks fine, but I think it looks professional and clean.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. And just running through, basically, you've got the council here. So. So yeah, on the governance side, we've got councillors' finance, meeting calendar, minutes, agendas, policies and procedures. And then on this side, we've got tender opportunities, vacancies, grants, things that we don't normally actually have on our website. So they're kind of new items in a way. And then at the bottom there, you see it W3C compliant, which is obviously key to everything really, it seems. Now the one thing that, if we look at, for example, these will need to be slightly tweaked in the future in terms of the way they're written. If we look at the March minutes, for example, ideally with disabled access, there shouldn't be too many underlines and too much bold, which I tend to use quite a lot. There's a lot of bold on here, so you have to have a little really look at that to see whether we can do it to suit the disabled access policy. So it just, I mean, to be honest with you, it can be written anyway. I mean, it's only 7 minutes. It's not, it's not some glossy thing that needs to be dressed up. It's a factual document. So I would have to make some changes to those. But apart from that, I don't think there's too much we need to do on it, actually, on this side, on the council side. Where it does become slightly weak, I think, is on the diary side, as Bob pointed out. We've not come up with it. If you go on to the community one, you've got amenities, history, community volunteers group, and so forth. And of course, they all need checking to make sure they're all up to date. This one, the what's on one, meeting calendar, and that's where I think we need to do some work, because at the moment it should be a village calendar, not a meeting calendar.
It's literally just showing our meeting.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a bit of work to do on that, but I appreciate any comments you might have about the layout or about how it looks in terms of general principle.
And if not, I've not made with the meeting calendar. I think most people are a bit more comfortable seeing an actual month by month calendar. So is there any way we can go around and say, show us the whole month of April, the whole month of March, and then you can highlight what's going on, rather than just list the next 4 things that are coming up. Because that's 3 different months, yeah. So if you clicked on March, for example, what does it show you on March?
It shows you.
Or over April then?
Yeah,
Okay.
March.
It would be nice to see there are 31 days in March, and actually the only thing going on is the parish hall meeting. Okay, how do
If
you
you
see
click on
that?
April, then you see you get that on there because there's nothing on there because we haven't done April meeting yet. So
Andy.
But would that change? I don't know if it makes it. I know what you mean. You want to see a 30-day
Yeah.
calendar and a dot on it saying event or
Yeah.
whatever, which is why we run all our diaries.
Yeah.
But would it, if it costs us no money, would it be easier if item 3 becomes item 4, becomes item 5, 6? So if it's got 30 items on there, and then it's just the date, would that make it easier for us? Because at the moment there's basically no data in there.
Yeah,
So it's making it look a bit clunky,
Yeah.
I think.
maybe.
Because the nice thing about that, when we go back to it, see the confusion with that one, that type of diary, you've got to go into it in February. If you go back to the original that we were looking at, the meeting calendar on the new one,
Here's the other tab.
on the other tab,
Right at the top, right at the top. Meeting calendar.
you need a new computer.
Just have a look.
no, you need a new operator.
But you see that it's saying in the month of April there's only 2 events, and it's either the 1st and the 15th. Now, if we had 20 events,
It might look a bit better.
yeah, which is what you're asking.
That's very good. Yeah, it just feels like, have I got everything? Am I showing everything? So
Yeah,
maybe
but if we go into July, August, we've got the events we share with you.
there are any, because the data's not been put in.
So I think maybe if we populate everything first before we ask them to change it and see what it looks like, because that's quite neat, isn't it? In July, we've got July the 1st, the Parish Council, and that's all we've got in our diary.
Is there anything on there, if you click on the Parish Council, to tell you anything behind it, or is it literally just, that's it?
Colin.
Bob, in the BKN,
Yeah.
you have a very concise
Yes.
diary for the whole month of almost everything that goes
If
on.
you go into the current website and then click on, say, December, because for some reason, because they ended it at the end of the year, they haven't gone into 2020. Right, so if you go next month.
Yeah. I mean,
Right, scroll down. Because what we do at the moment, keep going. I think it's going to show on now. There it is. So basically, what goes at the back of the Brent Knoll News, I send to the website to them, and they populate this with all the stuff that's coming up in the forthcoming month.
that's ideal.
That's better.
That's
Yes.
even better, yeah.
That's much better.
And I think that's more in line with what Charlie was saying as well.
Yeah.
I guess the difference between the 2 sites is one's a council website, it does happen to have local information, and the other one is a village website, it just happens to have the council. That's the difference. It's the other emphasis.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, our website, we're still going to have that village information on there.
Oh, yeah.
Because we're going to be responsible for putting it on there. And we want to make sure that everybody is aware of everything that's going on, and it's not a case of, have I missed something?
No,
Thinking back to how they've got the calendar at the moment in a regime, if you were to put all of those events in, that will fill it out. But also, I don't know what would happen if there's multiple events on the same day.
Yes.
would you have to create one entry as in 9th of March and list 6 entries underneath it? What's it going to be like in the size of that square?
Yeah.
So that might be something
Worth asking.
worth asking. Is there a character limit to how much you can fit in one of those squares? And if that is, that could cause us problems if we've got 6 events happening on the same day.
It's interesting, so I'm just wondering how much they've done of this diary thing, because I've been on to two websites, Curry Rival and Nails, that both have been done by Aubergine, and neither of those seem to show any sort of diary. Nails is a particularly good one actually, because it's a very full site, but it has no diary on there. Now,
We
so
did raise the
talk-
diary issue.
we did, when we had
said it
that,
was doable,
yes.
so.
So I think we just need to go back to them and say, because the whole idea of them sending this out now is you know, to get comments. So it's no.
Colin.
Have I missed something here? So what's going to happen to the Brent Knoll Village website?
Yes.
Okay, so will our website then take on everything that's here? Okay.
And the difference now is that at the moment, Debs and Dave update it for us.
Yeah.
With this one, I should be updating it.
Right. Okay.
So whatever it is, going to have to be within my sort of realms of, or maybe
I think
collectively
maybe
three of us.
between me, you, and
Jonathan,
Jonathan,
the three of
we'll
us can
turn
do it.
around and have assignments that, just like you do for the Brent Knoll News, we turn around and say, updates need to be done by close of play this week.
Yeah.
So there's all that stuff on the on there.
Charlie, is there anything else you wanted to
I was-
say? Just hold on, Amanda, because I want Charlie, then Andy, then
I'm sorry.
I'll come to you.
I was just going to say, in regards to the calendar, when you go back to Aubergine, turn around and say, potentially, if they can't come answer your questions with regards to how many characters, or it feels like it's not going to satisfy us, I guarantee that how we have it in the village website now, a listed version is so much easier to reproduce. That if we go back and say, that's acceptable for us, then they would be able to replicate that. It may not be as nice and clean as they want to do it. So.
Andy?
Yeah, for them it shouldn't be difficult because all they do is pick up modules and drop modules in and the modules work. So to ask for a similar, which might not be a bad idea because that's what our people are used to seeing, but also rather than just the three of you updating, if it's a calendar and we want the shop to put their stuff in and we want various other people to put their stuff in, if you can have sign-off rights at various levels on a website.
We can't, so they can propose for changes, but we have to approve them.
Yeah,
So,
but they can actually put them in before they go live. You can actually stop them. So you should be able to have a sort of gating system. What I'm thinking of is if it's the three of you updating the system all the time, that's a lot of work. If we're going to keep this thing live and bubbling.
I think what you're saying is correct. So when we proposed with Aubergine, we did raise the fact that we needed multiple editors. And they said, because it is a parish council website, it can only be updated by parish councillors. And we said, well, how does that work if we want residents in the village, like the shop, to be able to update it? And we did turn around and say, you can almost create like a draft one, so the shop could go in, create a draft one, and then it gets sent to one of us three to approve, and then it's us publishing it. So in essence, it would meet more requirements. I don't know if Aubergine have shared with us those details on how we do it.
But I think that could work, Charlie. I'm just thinking you three are going to land up with a lot of
We'd
work.
still have to verify what's on there, because ultimately, if I was to approve it, it's like I have written it on there.
Absolutely.
So I have to take the responsibility.
So we should have a sandbox situation where they can write, we give them access, and that's what I'm saying, and then you authorise it onto the system. And then it stops you having to update the diary. And
I just don't know how that will work with the diary, because it might be, just thinking how simplistic it is behind this, I think it might be one page. So if 6 people are wanting to update this one page, if it's 6 times in draft, it may just not be as simplistic. But even if we work out between us, the diary is the most complex one to say, like the Brent Knoll News, tell us what's coming in the diary. The cut-off point is Friday evening. Then I'm happy to turn around and say an hour on my Sunday to actually check
and that's really good and fantastic, and not taking it away. In 5 years' time, most of us won't be serving. Other people will, and this will fall out of repair. So if we're going to build it and spend the money now, we need to build it so that it's got future proof.
Yeah.
And councillors are not particularly good at maintaining stuff like this. And let's be honest, some of the people that interact with us are not very good at keeping to time frames. So you're already building up frustration between us and the council. There must be some sort of sandbox exercise where we can authorise certain people in the village to put the data in, such as the calendar. So the people who do the calendars for us now, why can't that continue to work like that and we authorise it onto the system rather than us having to key it in? And I think once you start having to key in on the system, you guys are going to get really cheesed off from it. I mean, I don't know about you, I run a diary, most of you run a diary on a daily basis, and the amount of amendments I do on my own diary just cheeses me off. And yeah, I think we're just opening ourselves up to fail or frustrate ourselves, and really concerned about the amount of work that councillors are taking on.
So,
If I can Amanda and I'll come back to you.
no, I was just going to say, just following on from what Andy was just saying, can you not just, like, that is obviously the copy of the back page of the BKN, lift it straight off of that, put it on there?
I just looked at the accessibility guidelines that we've had this built for, and it's going to really restrict how you have a diary. There's a whole list of things because of people viewing it. Like, we couldn't take it off because we've got everything lined up, and that's not allowed. They've got
Right,
formats and things. So I think it's going to be, you'll be able to do something better than that, definitely, just looking quickly, but you won't be able to have anything like what we've had because of guidelines and people viewing it. And
I think what I will, I have a word with Taunton Town Council because they're also using Aubergine. Now theirs is a very, very complex site because obviously it's a big council. We'll ask the clerk though whether there's anything there that they can recommend in terms of the Aubergine that works for them, which might work for us.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure they have something similar. I haven't looked at some one lately, but it makes sense to have a look at that, I think.
And again, when you speak to Aubergine, let them see what we've got and say, well, what can you do
To fit that.
that works
From what
to
we've
the
got,
legislation?
to fit that.
I think the imaging of it we can get used to, and I do agree, you know, when you've only got 2-3 boxes up there for March, it looks a bit poor. But if it's 20 boxes in order, then it will look a lot stronger, and I would imagine that meets what David is saying about certain people being able to read it. So I don't think we're going to particularly argue about any of that, but I just feel that current councillors, I think, definitely could carry the workload. Councillors following us in might not be willing to carry the workload.
Yeah.
And that's a difference.
I mean, for example, one of the things I haven't transferred across is all the SIP data. On the other side, we've got all the SIP data, which I've transferred onto there over the years. That's not on there at all. Now, I don't know why that is, whether they've missed it out or what they've done, but anyway, that's certainly one area.
It's because they appear on the camera too often.
Yes.
Can I make a proposal that we set up with a meeting with Overtree
Yeah, I think
as soon as possible? Make sure I'm on that meeting. I can do any time after 4.
Okay.
If it's another time, just phone me and I'll see if I've got a space in my calendar.
Right.
We'll raise the issue with regards to multiple access, but going back to the point that I made, we have to be approvers. It's just whether multiple people can make suggestions to a page at the same time. And my worry is if the shop come in and want to make a diary change, we haven't approved it, and then the village hall wants to make a diary change, is it going to say I'm locked because there's already a proposal here? So it's just understanding how that works in order to do it.
And if you look at it, I mean, obviously you've got amenities, history, community and volunteer groups. Now, I haven't comes up there on that one. Because I'm just thinking the shop, on the old side, I've got quite a lot of stuff actually. This is just local groups. So you've got group companions, for example, you've got that there. So you've got all the local groups on that page. And that, I presume, is up to date. We don't know. I do occasionally go back to these groups and say, is your information still updated?
But that's the thing. As this thing grows and people see that it's useful, the three of you are going to have more and more work to do to keep this thing up to date. Because the worst thing you're going to have on a website is being out of date. people will complain very quickly. So we've got to find a way within the rules that allows us to have people access the system to update it. Because otherwise you're just going to have to restrict the amount of data on there because you can't keep it up to date.
Which will be a shame.
Which is a failure. Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely.
No, I quite agree. I think there's certainly some tweaking to be done there. No question about it. Quite significant tweaking, actually.
So is everyone happy that we go ahead on the basis that there is a meeting
We
with
meet up with
the IT working group with Aubergine, and they keep feeding back to us, and we can keep doing. And I think the plan is hopefully to have a bit of a demo at the.
Yeah, the idea was at the annual parish meeting, which we've got quite a light one this year actually. We haven't got much in the way of speakers. David and Abe and others are hopefully going to be doing the flood action bit. But I was thinking of putting it on the screen.
Well, let me know between us, we
showing
can
the
demo,
village.
I'm happy to do a
Yeah.
demo. So.
Just so that people can see what, because not everybody looks at it regularly. So if we put it on the screen and show people.
It'd just be like, did you know we even have this website?
Well, exactly, yeah, that's right. But it's moving forward in the right way. I just think,
Have they set up tools for doing accounts and stuff as who's looked at what page? Because they said that was something that could be part
they
of
could be part of it, and I think, because I've got a training with them, I think on April the 7th, I think, was the first training I could put myself onto. And that's really to be trained on how to update, because I haven't got a clue. If you send me something at the moment, I haven't got a clue what to do.
Because let me there and I'll see if I can join. I'm actually working that day, if I can, see if I can join.
Yeah.
Or at least have it recorded and share the recording.
Sure. Well, that's always a good thing, if you can share the
Yeah,
recording.
yeah.
I think definitely training, there's no question about it. Because otherwise, we're just not updating it properly. What we don't want to do is updating it incorrectly, so people get confused. I'm confused as it is, so I'm not sure. Half the village is confused as well. Okay, so anyway.
Any other comments or questions that anyone's got on?
Just one question
Yeah.
with regards to people checking their mail addresses. Did you get confirmation that everybody has?
Well, something we've tried, but Amy's
Yeah.
been successful so far.
I've
And
done
you've
one as well,
done your,
sorry.
you
Yeah,
can
sorry.
well, there you go, there's two then. Would you be able to assist one or two of the others?
Yeah, I just used webmail. I need
That's
to
right.
figure out how to put it into my Apple phone calendar. But as long as I could log into webmail, that was enough for me. So.
And you can change the password, which of course Charlie and I had a conversation about this.
Yeah, no, I've got it on my, I've got it, but it won't accept incoming mail. I can send out on it.
I think so, yeah.
Send in.
Should we try and get
Yeah.
together outside the meeting?
Yeah.
Try and see if we can sort it out, because I think it's,
I'll see if I can have something ready for the next meeting
Yeah.
and do like a little training session
Okay.
post that.
at
Give
the
us some
moment, we
time.
meet compliance because the council itself has got .gov.uk, so we meet the assertion intent requirements, which means you can tick the box, one of the boxes on the external audit, we've done that bit. It doesn't require members to be on .gov.uk this particular end of March. What you can't do from the end of March is you can't use personal emails. You have to use the Gmail at the very least. So the Gmail at Brent Knoll, whatever the email address is, what you can't do is use a personal email, because that's seen as not secure under data protection.
Okay, excellent. Anything else under matters of consideration?
No, that's it.
Okay. Any matters of report heading to the next council meeting? Charlie, anything from
I
you?
have an item I'd like to add for the next meeting. Obviously, it's been a while now since we installed the gate up at the hill car park. Just how that's going with people opening and shutting the gate. So, and whether it's been successful. I don't know if you solicited
There is an
feedback.
update, yeah, there will be an update on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So put it on there. Yeah.
Yes.
Can we talk about those signs, the no call calling signs, because I have now got, I'm in receipt of the signs from the police with the neighbourhood watch ones,
All right.
so I'd quite like to get them up if we can. I don't know where we were with the no call calling thing.
I think the minute was that we were authorised to get up to 10 up to
Up to
£100.
£100 cost.
I think AD was going to get that, wasn't he? Did AD say he
He
was
said
going to
something about it.
I think AD said he was going to order £100.
Can we go back to Wade just to make sure he knows that he's getting those?
I think we just want the exact wording, because I think he was concerned at one point we couldn't say police on the signs, but
No, no, I've got ones
Yeah,
from
we now got the
police,
exact
and the
wording.
neighbourhood
Yeah.
watch.
we've got the exact wording. I think.
They're
It
just,
just needs to be in the standard, industry standard, no cold calling signs,
Yeah.
nothing, no variations. There you go.
that's it.
Tracy, Andy, Colin?
No.
I'm not.
On the annual meeting, which will be coming up before we know it, at the moment, it looks like we've got our usual sort of administrative stuff which we're doing, and then we're going to do a flood action group.
Yeah, we put together all the PowerPoints
So
and.
that'll be quite important, I
Yeah.
think. That will be. We can do a presentation on the website, and the other thing, I'm hoping that we might get a new vicar to come along to that meeting. I have sent her a couple of emails, I haven't replied, so, but she's probably just starting.
She was at the bazaar.
She walked into the bazaar.
She came down on her bike.
So I'll keep on trying to contact her, because she may want to come along and do 20 minutes.
She might do, yeah.
And then that really will be this year's OPM, actually.
Are we okay for
Cheese and
Catering.
cookies. We are.
Yeah, Mark and Colin's doing biscuits.
Oh, that's okay, well, like normal.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
making
He's
them.
supplying them.
It's
So it's
home,
happening.
is it home baked this time, Colin?
Yeah, like normal.
Someone will
Just like how many, what, couple of hundred?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Please watch this
Mixed
recording.
flavours will be absolutely fine.
You don't want to see how he rolls his scones.
No.
Right.
At that point, I'm going to come to the end of the meeting and turn the camera off. Okay, we'll close the meeting.
Do believe you